Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we are going to discuss sedative and hypnotics, which are the CNS depressants. Sedation or sedatives, that drug which reduces anxiety, exerts a calming effect, produces calming effect. It has little or no effect on motor or mental functions. They are called as sedative. They are also called anti-anxiety or anxiolytics. So sedative, if you are asked the question, what are the sedatives? These are the drugs which reduce anxiety. So they are anxiolytic or anti-anxiety drugs. Minor tranquilizers, they are also called minor tranquilizers because they exert a calming effect. CALMING, calming, calm, cool down. They have little or no effect on motor or mental functions. While hypnotics, as the name is indicating, hypnosis is from sleep. That drug which produces drowsiness and facilitates the onset and maintenance of sleep which resembles natural sleep. And person can be easily aroused. That means he is not so depressed that he cannot be aroused. So hypnosis or hypnotics are those drugs which produce drowsiness. They facilitate the onset and maintenance of sleep which resemble natural sleep. The effect of sedative and hypnotics is dose related. By increasing the dose, the same drug can show different reactions. For example, first they will produce sedation. If you see this diagram, at the bottom, on CNS effects, sedation. Then if you increase the dose, it can produce hypnosis. And if you further increase the dose, it can produce anesthesia. And if you further increase the dose, it can lead to coma. And if it goes to very high, then it even can lead to death, and which is mainly due to depression of respiratory and vasomotor centers in the medulla. So the effects of most of the drugs is depending upon the dose. So first they will produce sedation, then hypnosis, anesthesia, coma, and death. In this diagram, you can see dose response curves of two hypothetical sedative hypnotics, drug A and drug B. Drug A, if you see the graph, it is touching if you increase the dose, it goes up to the coma and death. While if you see the drug B, even if you increase the dose, it remains up to anesthesia and then it doesn't go higher. That means the drug B is safe because even if you increase a very high dose, by increasing the dose, you can see that even that doesn't go up to the death or coma. The classification of sedative and hypnotics, mainly the drugs which are now used, which are very safe and they are commonly used, they are the benzodiazepines. Among the benzodiazepines, lorazepam, diazepam, chlorazepate, chlordiazepoxide, prazepam, oxazepam, bromazepam, clonazepam, flurazepam, temazepam, triazolam, nitrazepam, alprazolam, tazolam, loprazolam, these are, and estalozepam. Substituted diols, meprobamate, Milton, Equinol. Then comes very important group which are very commonly used, and they were very commonly used previously, but now their use has decreased. They are the barbiturates. Among the barbiturates, long-acting barbiturates, phenobarbital, barbital, methyl phenobarbital, mifebarbital. These long-acting, their duration can be for 4 to 5 days. Then intermediate or medium acting barbiturates, amylobarbitol, butobarbitol, cyclobarbitol. Short acting barbiturates, kernel barbitol, pentobarbital, secobarbital. Then comes very important, which are clinically used, ultra short acting barbiturates, thiopenton sodium with the trade name of pentothal for induction of anesthesia, very commonly used, methoxytone, hexabarbital. Then comes phenothiazines, which are antipsychotics but has got sedative and hypnotic activity, promazine, promethazine, trimeprazine. Then come miscellaneous chloral hydrate, meprobamate, glutathione, methaqualone, and then propranolol, which is a beta blocker, diphenhydramine, which is antihistamine, meltion, and then neo drugs, zolpidem, zolpidem, and S-zopicolone. These are the neo drugs which are now very commonly used as hypnotic. The chemical structure of benzodiazepines, they are all synthetic compounds. Their basic structure contains benzene ring, diazepine ring, and 5-aryl substituent. You see these at a different level. These are two rings, and they are in diazepam, fluoroazepoxide, and fluorazepam. All they are containing. And for their sedative hypnotic activity, they need a halogen or nitro group is required at 7. If you see benzene at 7, there is chloride in most of the cases, and in nitrozepam there is nitro group, which is necessary for its sedative hypnotic activity. So with modifications in molecular structures, various compounds with similar activities are synthesized, and you can see these all chemical structure of these benzodiazepines. In this slide you can see the chemical structure of some of the barbiturates as well as other sedative hypnotics. Barbiturates, they contain the basic nucleus of barbiturate nuclei, which is a barbiturate. Which all these are barbiturates. They are synthetic compounds. They possess barbituric acid nucleus, which is the urea, and malonic acid that forms the barbituric acid. By modification, the molecular structure, different types of compounds are obtained, and they have longer half-life, and the phenobarbital is very commonly used, and this is a long-acting, and if you are giving regular doses, there will be cumulative effect, and it is very strong enzyme inducer, phenobarbital, which is going to induce the liver enzymes, so that is going to increase not only the metabolism of other drugs but its own metabolism. So it's a very strong enzyme inducer. So whenever you have to give phenobarbital, you have to keep in mind that this is going to increase the metabolism of other drugs which are co-administered. So you have to adjust the dose of other drugs, and when you stop phenobarbital, this is going to reactivate or stop the enzyme induction, so that you have to decrease the dose of co-administered drugs. And as far as the other drugs, glutathione, meprobamate, and chlorohydrate, although nowadays they are no more used except in psychiatric patients. In this slide, you can see the chemical structure of the newer hypnotic drugs, zolpidem, zolpidem, and S-zepicolone. These are the newer drugs. Novel chemical structures have been introduced more recently for the use in sleep disorders. Zolpidem is an imidazopyridine, while zolpidem is pyrazolopyrimidine, and S-zepicolone is a cyclopyrrolone. Chemically, although actually structurally they are unrelated to the benzodiazepines, but they share a similar mechanism of action, and we'll discuss later on. Now we discuss few words about the dosage of commonly used sedative hypnotics. For it, we discuss the pharmacokinetics. As far as absorption and distribution is concerned, the rate of oral absorption of sedative hypnotics differ depending upon number of factors, including lipophilicity. For example, absorption of triazolam is extremely rapid, and that of diazepam and the active metabolite of clorazepate is more rapid than other commonly used benzodiazepines. Clorazepate is a product is converted to its active form, which is des-methyl diazepam or nor-diazepam by acid hydrolysis in the stomach. More of the barbiturates and other older sedative hypnotics as well as newer hypnotics, they are absorbed rapidly into the blood following oral administration. Lipid solubility plays a major role in determining the rate at which a particular sedative hypnotic enters the CNS. This property is responsible for a rapid onset of effect of triazolam, thiopentone, and the newer hypnotics. All sedative hypnotic cross placental barrier during pregnancy, so one has to be careful when you are giving these benzodiazepine and barbiturates during pre-delivery period, because that can depress the neonatal vital symptoms or functions. And sedative hypnotics are also detectable in breast milk, so they can exert depressant effect in the nursing infants. As far as the metabolism or biotransformation is concerned of these hypnotics, and sedatives, hepatic metabolism is the main site where the drugs they are metabolized. Phenobarbital is very important because it's a very strong enzyme inducer, while benzodiazepines and newer hypnotics, they are going to affect the enzyme, hepatic enzyme. So when you are using phenobarbital, you have to be careful because that is going to increase its own metabolism as well as the metabolism of other drugs. And after metabolism, some of the metabolites they are active, so that can also affect the effect of the drug. And long-acting barbiturates, they can have cumulative and residual effects such as drowsiness, and one has to be careful when you are giving these drugs. As far as the excretion is concerned, the water-soluble metabolites of sedative hypnotics mostly via the phase 2 conjugation of after phase 1 metabolites are excreted via the kidney, and the renal function don't have a marked effect on elimination of the parent drug, while phenobarbital is excreted unchanged in the urine to a certain extent, maybe up to 30% in humans, and its elimination rate can be increased significantly by alkalinization of the urine. This is partly due to increased ionization at alkaline pH. And then factors which are affecting the biotransformation. Biodisposition of sedative hypnotic can be influenced by several factors, particularly alteration in hepatic functions resulting from disease or drug-induced increase or decrease in microsomal enzyme activity. In very old patients and in patients with severe liver disease, the elimination half-life of these drugs are often increased significantly. So, in such cases, multiple normal doses of these sedative hypnotics can result in excessive CNS depressant effect. The activity of hepatic microsomal enzymes, metabolizing enzymes, they are increased on exposure to certain older sedative hypnotics like phenobarbital, which are strong enzyme inducers. Likewise, meprobamate, that is a strong enzyme inducer. And those drugs which are going to inhibit the enzymes like cimetidine or ketoconazole, they are going to decrease the metabolism of these sedative hypnotics. This is giving you the sedative hypnotic doses of alprazolam to the newer agent like zolpidem and zolpidem and triazolam. Different doses for sedation, for anti-anxiety or hypnosis, for induction of sleep or for maintenance of sleep. So these are different doses. In this slide, you can see the biotransformation of benzodiazepines, which are main sedative and hypnotic drug nowadays, very safe as compared to the older drugs, barbiturates and other older sedative hypnotic drugs. So if you see this chart, you can see how these active drugs like chlordiazepoxide, diazepam, promazepam, clorazepate, some are inactive. After metabolism, they are converted to desmethyl diazepam, which is active metabolite, and then that is going to be converted to oxazepam, which is again an active metabolite, while alprazolam and triazolam, they are after alpha hydroxy metabolites which are active. They are conjugated, while lorazepam, if you see on the right side, lorazepam, which is going to go directly to phase 2 reaction, conjugation, and after conjugation they are going to be excreted in the urine, while if you see flurazepam, after hydroxy ethyl flurazepam and alkyl flurazepam, which are active metabolites, they are conjugated and they are excreted in the urine. So this is the main mechanism of metabolism of benzodiazepines. So you can see most of these active metabolites, they are going to affect the effects in the CNS, and they can prolong the effects. In this slide, you can see the benzodiazepine and other barbiturates and newer drugs. They are going to potentiate the GABAergic neurotransmission at the level of spinal cord, hippocampus, hypothalamus, substantia nigra, cerebral cortex, and cerebral cortex. Because the gamma aminobutyric acid is a major inhibitory neurotransmitter in the CNS. So by inhibiting, there is a decrease in the firing rate of concerned neurons. So they are going to depress the neurons of the ascending reticular formation and thus reduce its activating influence on the cerebral cortex. So this is a model of GABA A receptors, ion channels, macromolecular complex. A oligomeric glycoproteins, the complex consists of 5 or more membranes spanning subunits. Multiple forms of alpha, beta, and gamma subunits are arranged in different pentameric combinations so that the GABA A receptors exhibit molecular heterogeneity. GABA appears to interact with alpha or beta subunits, triggering chloride channels opening with resulting membrane hyperpolarization. Binding of benzodiazepines is at this, if you can see on in the diagram, benzodiazepine BDZ at the combination of alpha with gamma. So it's a specific site for benzodiazepines as well as the newer agents like zolpidem, azapicolone. They have this benzodiazepine, and these newer agents, they combine with it. And while the GABA that is going to these barbiturates, they are mainly acting on and where there's beta and gamma is at the site. So they are going to influence the flow of chloride current into and that is going to cause hyperpolarization, and that is going to inhibit the propagation of in the neurons. Then if you see on these benzodiazepines, they are going to increase the frequency of opening of the chloride channels. They are not directly going to cause chloride, the GABAergic chloride channel opening, but rather it increases the frequency opening of the chloride channels. While barbiturates, they are going to increase the duration of opening of chloride channels. So this will lead to hyperpolarization of the neuron membrane, and that is going to cause decrease in propagation and firing of the impulses. This is the main mechanism how these benzodiazepine, barbiturate, and other sedative hypnotics, they are going to decrease the neuronal activity and its propagation. And also the antagonist which is going to decrease, that is flumazenil. Flumazenil, Flumazenil. Flumazenil is diazepam or benzodiazepine antagonist. It is a synthetic benzodiazepine derivatives which blocks the action of benzodiazepine, azapicolone, zolpidem, and zolpidem, but does not antagonize the action of barbiturates, meprobamate, and ethanol. So flumazenil is a pure antagonist of benzodiazepines, which is a synthetic compound, a derivative of benzodiazepine derivative, but it has got no antagonistic activity against barbiturates, meprobamate, and ethanol. Now the clinical uses of sedative hypnotics, especially the benzodiazepines, for the relief of anxiety. The psychological and behavioral and physical responses that characterize anxiety can take many forms. Typically, the psychic awareness of anxiety is accompanied by enhancement of vigilance, motor tension, and autonomic hyperactivity. All these symptoms, they are of anxiety, they are relieved by benzodiazepines. They are quite safe as compared to barbiturates and older drugs. While excessive or unresponsive anxiety about life circumstances, generalized anxiety disorders or GAD, panic disorders, and agoraphobia are also amenable to drug therapy, especially with benzodiazepines or psychotherapy. Benzodiazepines continue to be widely used for the management of acute anxiety states and for rapid control of panic attacks. Disadvantages of benzodiazepines include the risk of dependence, depression of the CNS functions, and amnestic effects. In addition, the benzodiazepine exert additive CNS depressant when administered with other drugs like ethanol. The patient should be warned of this possibility to avoid impairment of performance of any task requiring mental alertness and motor coordination. In the treatment of generalized anxiety disorder or GAD and certain problems, newer antidepressant including selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor SSRIs and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor SNRIs are now considered by many authorities to be drug of first choice. Then for the treatment of insomnia, second indication, in different sleep problems, the benzodiazepines are very safe because they are going to decrease the latent period. That means they said the patient goes to sleep earlier and maintains the normal sleep. So benzodiazepine can cause a dose-dependent decrease in both REM and slow-wave sleep, though to a lesser extent than the barbiturates. The neurohypnotics, zolpidem, zolpidem, and exapicolone are less likely than the benzodiazepine to change sleep patterns. So you can have this benzodiazepine and new drugs, very safe and very good drugs for different sleep problems. Next is for sedation and amnesia before and during medical and surgical procedures. When the patient is going to have surgery or medical procedure like endoscopies or colonoscopy, we can use, and that sedation or drowsiness and amnesia during these procedures is required, and that is beneficial because the patient should not have embarrassment or any bad feeling afterwards. So for that sake we use benzodiazepines as a sedative or amnesia during and before medical and surgical procedures. Secondly, also you can use for the treatment of epilepsy and seizure states, especially status epilepticus, when the seizure they are uncontrolled and they can be used intravenously. So previously phenobarbital was very commonly used. Barbiturates, they are still used as especially in children. Then as a component of balanced anesthesia, intravenous administration along with other drugs, you can use these barbiturates, benzodiazepines, especially in high-risk patients. And then for control of ethanol and other sedative hypnotic withdrawal states, when you want to withdraw ethanol and sedative hypnotics, you can use these benzodiazepine and barbiturates, especially long-acting barbiturates. So you can use these drugs to, when the patient is alcoholic or dependent on these drugs, and you use it, which are those drugs which not develop psychological dependence. Then you can also use as muscle relaxant in specific neuromuscular disorders. So in specific diseases where there is a neuromuscular disorder, you can use benzodiazepines as muscle relaxant. Also you can use as diagnostic aid for the treatment of psychiatric ailments. You can use these sedative hypnotics So these are different clinical uses of sedative hypnotics. Then as far as the toxicity is concerned, then mainly the toxic is dependent upon the dose. If you use and repeated dose, and when you are using, there is a cumulative effect. So there is a direct extension of the toxic effects. Secondly, then when you are using along with other CNS depressant like alcohol and other antipsychotic drugs, antihistamines, there will be additive effect of these sedative hypnotics. One has to be very careful. And thirdly, there is a possibility of psychological and physical dependence when you are using these drugs, because they are CNS related drugs. So there will be physical and psychological dependence with these drugs. One has to be careful not to use these drugs like narcotics and other drugs. When they are combined with these drugs, they are going to depress the respiratory as well as the vasomotor center. And then very important is the drug interactions. When you are using with those drugs which are either enzyme inducer or enzyme inhibitor, because all these drugs, they have to be metabolized by the liver. So those enzyme inducers, they are going to increase the metabolism of these drugs, and those which are enzyme inhibitor, they are going to inhibit the metabolism of these drugs. So one has to be careful and one has to adjust the dose. And secondly, these phenobarbital or barbiturates, phenobarbital, which is very strong enzyme inducer, that is going to increase the metabolism of other drugs. So one has to be careful. And thirdly, very important is the CNS depressants like ethanol, phenothiazines, and anticonvulsant drug, opioid analgesics, and when they have to be combined are antihistamines and antihypertensive drugs, antidepressant, tricyclic antidepressant drugs. When they are combined with these sedative hypnotics, there will be additive effect as synergistic effect of CNS depression. So one has to be careful to combine these drugs. These were the very important adverse